Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Electronic Cafe. In this particular one, we're interviewing the fantastic Sven Passenger S from Metroland, talking about his new album, Forum. Amazing guy. We love him to bits. Yeah, mate, Sven, what a great guy.
Yeah, I mean, Sven, we spoke to him before. One of our first interviews was with Sven talking about Metroland and 808.pop.
Yeah.
I mean, his music is so perfect. I mean, I know it's often compared with Kraftwerk. I mean, he told us the story previously where a Metroland release got sold on eBay by someone saying it's new material from Kraftwerk. So, I mean, the DNA there is spot on. Great speaking to him, great music man, just a lovely guy. And we want to bring his music and his new album in particular to the Electronic Cafe.
So let's do that. Everyone, please enjoy our chat with Sven Lauwers from Metroland and talking about the new album.
Yeah, it's because I'm a fan of Bauhaus and art stuff. So it's but I don't think there is a real link with Bauhaus, Staircase, OMD. Yeah, I know McCluskey's a fan of that sort of stuff as well, but he didn't ask permission to release that title before.
Hey everyone, look, we're beyond pleased to welcome back a very dear friend of the Electronic Cafe to talk exclusive about the new album, Sven Lauwers, aka Passenger S of Metroland. He's here to talk about Forum, the latest release. Sven, you're always welcome here, my friend, and it's so very good to see you. This is a great sounding album, and me and Mark were talking about this earlier. It kind of feels a bit of a nod to innovation and nostalgia. Would you think that's a fair description?
If you feel like it,
yeah,
I think you could describe it that way. Yeah, but I never look at my releases that way. I mean, it's like, I just release it.
I say, Mark and I were having a chat about this before we jumped on. We're saying it seems very connected to the amazing album. This one, in a good way, Zero, in terms of, was that done on purpose, or was that just because you're in that rich vein of creativity? It feels like there's a continuing story. And again, if I'm wrong, I'll put but I feel there's a real connection.
It is. They are connected, and it was not really the plan to have them connected. But by now that we have so many ideas, and sometimes things pop up, and we never actually sat down stating, okay, now we're gonna do some extension to Zero or Null or whatever. But the initial idea for Zero was actually to release 4 EPs, Industry 4.0, 1.0, and so forth and so on, just on download. But then, it got to that double album, the double vinyl album. And then we had those 4 singles, and then it was like, due to the delay that was caused by whatever, in the release date of Null, there was already a 5th industrial revolution, and now they're talking about the 6th. And so, nice to do something with it and then continue. But we already had 4 singles from Null, and taking another single from Null, the Industry 4.0, would be no. And so, we just started creating songs with no real goal, but still we were in the atmosphere of the World Economic Forum and the Industry 4.0, 5.0. And then, normally we start with a concept, but this time we did not. We just continued, and we were in the flow of Null, the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
And it just continued, and that's where it ended on 4.
Sven, I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you about that. I mean, obviously, we've got a copy of this. It's a great album. It follows not long behind the Zero album, and we find that with you, there's always a strong concept and the packaging and everything that goes into your releases, whether it's the underground or high-speed trains or photography or industry or the fourth revolution. Have you got a list of concepts of things you want to write about, or do they just come to you and you evolve around what springs to your mind?
Concepts mostly happen with us. We don't sit down and think about something.
Yeah.
And it's the first time ever when I started making music with concepts at Metroland in 2010. We started with the new 808 that I sat down thinking, what will I be picking up next? And I didn't have any clue. And I was toying with two things, and it was like, no, I just can't find the right hook. And then suddenly, at a certain point in time, I got out of my bed and I saw a picture in my room. And it was born, and it's by far the best concept ever that I'm working on right now for 808. Forum is just out, but we're already close to completing the next Metroland conceptual album. It will be big again. You can be sure about that, and strange as well. And yeah, as for 808, I do have already a next concept in mind. So the next newest 808 release is not out yet. But I do have something up on my sleeve for another one. But it could change over time. I need to read about it, see videos on YouTube, and experience it. And if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. I just change. But it doesn't keep me from creating songs or laying foundations or basics for new songs. But yeah, I do have some things up on my sleeve always, all the time, because the world is just like a candy shop with ideas and things that are happening, and you just need to dive into it once it's there. So
for those who haven't stepped into we call it a captivating world of Metroland. For people who haven't heard you, how would you describe to our audience what to expect?
a continuation, let's say, of the Technopop scene from the mid 80s. You had
Nice.
the Depeche Mode, the Erasures, the Kraftwerk doing the real pop thing. Yeah, we are, let's say, an extension of the 80s sound, the vintage sound, but then, yeah, of course, in the 21st century where we are today. But we do not deliberately want to copy that period, of course. We just do our own stuff, but it's always with a foundation found there.
Yeah, I think you've got quite an original sound, but you can hear where the inspiration's from, but you kind of you're evolving that in your own way, which I think is, to be applauded.
Yeah, and it's a melting pot of ideas. I mean,
Yeah.
Messenger A has got we have the same background in music, but at a certain point there are splits, of course. I mean, I like Joy Division. I'm a real fan of Joy Division. You know that by now. Which Andy hates, and he's more into the dancier stuff, and at times but if you bring those things together, those elements together, and
Works.
yeah, it works. That's what Metroland is about, the melting pot of two individuals creating music.
What is your process, Sven, with Passenger A? I mean, when your musical tastes are slightly different and you come to write a new album, you're a totally electronic band. I mean, we've been in electronic bands, we've been in more traditional bands with guitars and drums as well. In a more traditional band, you can jam an idea and kick it around and then hone it. But then on an electrical band, you actually have to sit down and kind of program stuff and work it out. I mean, in your mind, and with certainly with Andy as well, how do you two work together? What's the process?
Well, we always start from a basic melody, let's say, or a bass line. Yeah, it's a mix between jamming, because you yeah, you can jam with an electronic band. I mean, you can have your keyboard and you say, oh, you tickle some notes and you have a melody. No, let's try the other note. So it could be that during an entire evening we don't get any result, or we get a massive melody, or we get even a song. That there are evenings when we are together that we really create a song, the basic of a song, of course. We come from a sort of harsher EBM past with the sound from Nights at Ep, so all these bass sequences and stuff like that, we do love it. So that's what so bit by bit, layer by layer, we create these songs. And then it's always, when we have the initial ideas, all our songs are 10 to 12 minutes long. It's like, yeah, good idea. We put everything together. And then afterwards, we start diminishing and some details here and there, and reshape the song actually. So jamming is not the word, but with a traditional band, I think it's more or less the same. You've got a good idea, guitar riff, and you continuously work on it until you say, now it's fine. And that's where the point where it starts to get into the mix. To finalize the details, the lefts and the rights, the effects, and so on. So I don't think we differ that much from a traditional way of working. I don't know. But we do program our music, of course. Every little detail, left, right, is planned. There is nothing which is by accident when we do our stuff. Every second is planned, and that's what I love about music. And that's something I learned from Depeche Mode during the 80s. They had that specific element of detail everywhere, which you could only hear under the headphones. And you don't have that with Kraftwerk. Even though they're superb, you don't have it there. It's just right in your face, but it grabs you by the balls. And it's a different way of making music, presenting music. But and when you combine those things, those hidden stuff, the Depeche Mode tweakies, bells, and then the harder direct Kraftwerk, again, that's something which is you can hear in the Metroland and the 808 sound, of course.
I know you said to Mark and I before that you don't really play live, but do you think that might ever change?
With Metroland, I don't think we will consider doing it again. But with 808, I was thinking about it. But it's a lot of work, because I just don't like to go on stage and just click the play button and then you have the playback from the album. That's not.
Yeah. I think that's very honest. And look, it's good enough just sitting in lounges and whatever on our headphones and hearing this anyway. Look, last time, and Mark and I spoke to you, kind of talking about stuff that you listen to. Just any couple of albums you can recommend, as well as your own good work. just a couple, though, because I know you and me and Mark are very similar. We'll be here all day, but is there a couple of tips you can give to our audience?
The latest one, which I dearly love, is the Office Personal Development album.
Personal Development.
I love it. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. The music is spot on. The concept, of course, I dearly love it. And when I look on Facebook, whatever they do, it's so crazy and lovely. So that's really top number one. It's the magic.
We've interviewed Trevor and the guys. They're a great bunch of people. Really lovely. And you're right, real good fun. They sent Mark and I a copy of the album. They gave us a lanyard with I can't remember what was your job time? I was a project manager, and they put my picture on it, and they did something for Mark. Oh, he's got it here, actually. Look, there you go.
Lovely. It's so lovely.
They are, and lovely people to go with. But you're right, great band. Really, really great. And mate, I was going to ask, me and Mark are going to ask you what's next in the pipeline after this, but I think you've already kind of hinted that there's a new Metroland album in the pipeline, and before that, an 808 album.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
What sort of time frames were you looking at on this, Sven? I mean, we don't want to twist your arm up your back, but I mean,
a little bit.
I finished the first mixes of the new 808s, so it could be something for early next year. I'm working on the artwork and the content, which is equally important as the music. It's not just that I make something and release it. has to be spot on, and it will be spot on.
I mean, that's what we love about all your releases. I mean, it's I know you very kindly send us copies, which we really appreciate, but receiving those envelopes from Belgium, when we know there's going to be a lot of special things inside the package and the way the records feel. I mean, you put a lot of effort into that, so we're excited to hear, or to wait and to receive and to hear about what the new 808 release is going to be like.
Yeah, and actually, just talking about great bits of packaging, this is great, mate. This little Metroland retrospective, love it, absolutely love it. Really, really cool. Yeah, you do things properly, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I like the mats are really nice, but I mean, I don't really want to use them because
I don't want to ruin them.
Yeah, exactly. So it seems such a shame.
Hey, by the way, Andy, the retrospective booklet. Have you looked at the art, the front, the cover?
Yes.
Yes. To you, any idea what it's like? Because that got something linked to the content.
No, tell me, mate, because I'll be honest, no. But I love. It's a great visual. But what is this? Are these color palettes from all the album covers combined or something?
Yeah.
Right.
So each time 2 lanes are the colors of the albums.
Yes, right. Now you said that, totally makes sense. I kind of got there. You put me right on the spot there, mate.
So even with stupid things like that, we're busy, you know.
Yeah, it's nice. There's some thought gone into it. It's like everything you do, as Mark said, the way you package stuff and the way you present stuff, it's all been, like your music, it's all been really well thought out, which is great. Absolutely love it.
Western values will have been tested to the breaking point. Checks and balances that underpin our democracies must not be forgotten. You will own nothing, and you will be happy.
With all your album covers, there's always like a Bauhaus-like feel to it. Just the way the colours, the squares, the way the artwork sits, and obviously OMD picked up on the Bauhaus theme for their last release, and obviously you've worked closely with OMD doing remixes for them and everything. So I mean, it all kind of ties in this this beautiful music you make.
Yeah, it's because I'm a fan of Bauhaus and art stuff. So it's Well, I don't think there is a real link with Bauhaus, Staircase, OMD. Yeah, I know McCluskey's a fan of that sort of stuff as well, but he didn't ask permission to release that title before.
Your stuff, I mean, always sonically, it's really
incredible.
It's really top notch. Again, it's great with headphones, knowing the way you use the spectrum of sound. It's really great. So, Sven, congratulations on this. I hope it does really well. I hope a lot of people get to hear it, and we love it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and thank you for the warm comment. Mastering is always the final part where you can hear that you've done your mix bad. Because most people shoot at the mastering guy, but these guys are doing a great job. And what they do is just, if you make mistakes in your final mix, then the mastering will enhance it.
Yeah, I think you're being a bit harsh because I think it sounds absolutely perfect. But I mean, as a musician, you hear in a song what other people don't hear, so you're probably being overcritical. But I think it sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good to these ears, mate.
Yeah. Can I ask you a technical question? Just as with my musician head on, how many tracks per song do you use for a Metroland track?
That depends. Will be something between 20 and 30 something. When I have a close hi-hat on the left side, and on the right side, there's already 2 tracks.
Yeah, that's right. I was expecting a lot more, because some people, with digital recording, you can have an infinite amount of tracks. I was actually, when you said 20 or 30 tracks, I was surprised at how little you use, because you can get carried away. You can have
You ask by average. There are of course tracks which have songs which have more tracks and less. That's it's an average, I would say. I do have tracks like the 12-inch, the 20-minute stuff. I mean, that's, I think, 40 to 50 tracks. And I have a 48-inch screen, wide, curved, and it was full. It was the first time it was full.
Sven, thank you for your time this morning. We'll let you crack on with your day. As we said earlier, loving this. Thank you very much for our copies, and do keep in touch.
Yeah, great interview. Nice talking to you guys again.
And you, mate. Always a pleasure. And, talk to you all day. We love your music. We love you, which I think is brilliant. I think you created something very special that all the Electronic Cafe people should check out if they haven't already. And for those that have, you know exactly what we're talking about. Mate, great work, my friend. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, same here. I mean, I'm really pleased to talk to you guys again. And off the recording stuff as well, just as normal people instead
exactly. No, mate, totally. Look, you're a real friend to us, and we absolutely love you. So it's always a joy to talk to you. It really is. We love it.
Cheers, Sven. Enjoy your Sunday. Thanks, mate. See you soon.
Bye, mate.
Quantum computing is destined to be the most profoundly world-changing technology that humans have yet uncovered.